Hello and welcome back everyone to the next episode on SAP Analytics Cloud Training with me Anubhav. In our last episode we talked about the concept of building our allocation scenario for planning data model. We've also talked about currency conversion and I also showed you building asymmetric report along with forecast report in planning. Towards the end of the class we learned about how to create a model from a blank model. We saw in what cases we should choose the creation of model as a blank model. So by far what we have done is we have created our blank model. Let me take you back to the files, my folder, models and planning model, and we've created this sales data planning model by far in the previous class. So this is what we have created. And also if you remember, we maintain the values inside each of the dimension property according to the data. Yes, this is all what we have done. We have also run the mapping tool to import the data into our planning data model. You can click this button to see the imported data into the planning model. The purpose of this entire scenario was to create eventually a value driver tree. Now, before we start discussing about VDT or value driver tree, let us go ahead and provide necessary configuration for this data model. So from the last episode, I have actually skipped the part of where we can import the currency inside this model. So I will switch over back to our data sheet. And in this, there is a last tab called currencies. And now I'm going to maintain the currencies into our data set. So let's grab all the currencies for this data model, copy, go back again, and then we switch over back to the modeler perspective or the folder and choose here model, or you can just go simply to the modeler perspective. And in this modeler perspective, we go to currency conversion and maintain the currency conversion. Let's call it as SAP CEP collaborated planning currency. Click on create and maintain all the currency rates. This here, I will save now the currencies into the system finally. And the next step, what I will do is I will go back and maintain these currency rates inside the system. So I'm going to switch over back to our model and I will open our sales data planning model one more time. And right into this model, I'm going to now maintain the currency rates. So let us go ahead and do that. So we'll come to the model settings and we go to the currency, and you can see here we can switch on the currency rates. And I will maintain the dimension as entity for currency conversion. And then I will maintain the currency rates, which is SAP CEP currency, which I just created into the system. I will also now go back and show you the concept of validation rule. So imagine you're working in a company and this company have different departments, and each department belongs to different types of products they are building. So let's say this is your big company. Inside this company you have, let's say, two departments. Let's say one is hardware department and one is software department. So think about this as your sales organization. In the current scenario, each department is building different products. Let's say hardware department building RAM, camera, web camera, and iPhone. And the software department is building ERP software, and also let's say they are building the antivirus software. Now think of these softwares or these products, different segmented products, as your entity. So you can see that if I change camera data, it should only affect my hardware department data. So this is a combination which is valid because camera is not part of software. So similarly, in a company, you have sales organization and an entity. They have a tight relationship. So if I enter the data for a particular entity, I want to make sure that people belongs to only this sales organization should be allowed to change the data for this entity. So in order to maintain and establish this relationship, we have to create validation rules. So we have already, if you remember in the last class, maintained data or basically the required join data in the sales organization. In this, I have created an entity column to specify additional property that this sales org belongs to this entity. This belongs to this entity. And the entity data is in another column. So basically, how it is different from blending. In the blending, our data was actually completely in a different model. But what if in your application you have to do a blending with the self, or you want to do a check of data of one column corresponding to another column? Yes. So all the conversion should, or currency conversion also should happen in the same way. So you have these entities here, and there is a linking column which we created, that which sales org belongs to which entity over here. I will go back now to the model preference, go to planning, and here we have something called validation rules. I enable this and I click OK. I will first save the model. So we just added currency rates and validation rule enablement. We can come down, validation rule, and now over here we will create with existing attributes. So the first attribute I choose is sales organization. You can see it picks up all the values automatically. And the second property I will choose as the entity property of my sales org should be matched for this entity property over here. Click OK. That's it. So this completes now our entity and sales org matching. And I will go to general section and I will say validation. Click on save. Done. So now we've created the relationship between them. Click on cancel. We are done with defining validation rule. I just go back. So this now completes our model definition starting from a blank model. Now, let me begin with the introduction to what is value driver tree, why we use value driver tree, and then we will take a scenario to build value driver tree manually. So I'm going to switch over back to my presentation and start with introduction of what is value driver tree, VDT in shorts. So what is VDT? Why we use VDT? So what is it? What is value driver tree? So a value driver tree, or in short VDT, allows us or visualizing the composition of KPIs and their contributing factor. In your business, you have multiple KPIs depend on each other. You would like to give a visual representation of this KPI together in a single control, and that's where we can use value driver tree. A VDT shows how a KPI is calculated from another KPI. So how to calculate one KPI from another KPI is what we can show in the value driver tree. So as you know that the price of a product today in the market is reflected with a something called inflation number. As you know that the whole world is talking about recession. Why? It's a aftermath of pandemic. In the pandemic, most of the companies, most of the countries have printed billions upon dollars of currencies, and that money was pumped into the market and dumped into the market. Because of that, there was a bubble which was boomed across all the sectors in the industry. The salary hikes so have happened, and a lot of people have got humongous amount of money. It has inflated the price, and today the biggest concern for the economies is to survive this deadly inflation. So this inflation is what affects price of everything. You see the fuel prices are rising, commodity prices are rising, your daily day-to-day expenses are expensive day by day. Why? Because it's a flat factor of inflation. At what rate the inflation is rising in the market, it affects price of almost everything. Yes. So you have a lot of KPIs in the business as well, which affects the price of something else. So in SAC, a value driver tree VDT can be used to visualize existing data, but also simulate the impact of change of a KPI on another. So I want to know if my fuel expense increase, how much is going to affect my household budget? If next month I'm going to pay more bill on my television, on my utility, on my electricity, how much is the impact of this on my savings? All of that I want to visualize. I can create a value driver tree. So in planning, in collaborative planning, the VDT component can be used to create and simulate different scenarios. Value driver tree are provided as a standard story widget, just like table, chart, and seamlessly integrated inside SSC stories. A value driver tree is a standard widget. So where is that widget? When you go to create stories. So let me open a new session in parallel. I go back now to create new story. So you can see here value driver tree. It's a standard widget. So you can click on that and you can say create a new story or use legacy designer. Yes. So I say create a new story and it will now create a new story with a empty value driver tree inside. Yes. That's what the system will do. Or you can just say no thanks. I want to create a story from scratch. So you can create a new canvas page. Next. And you can now just add maybe empty chart, choose our data model, models, planning model, sales data planning model, which we just created. And now you see in the plus button, there is something called value driver tree. It's a standard widget as part of SAP Analytics Cloud. Make sense? This is where you can find it. Okay. So what this widget does, it can be configured like any other story widget by adding new component using the panel. So it can be configured by adding the widget to the storing as a new component from menu. VDT is based on, of course, data model. It's based on planning data model, and we configure multiple nodes. So VDT is a tree data structure. Guys, if you learned about data structure in school days, we have stacks, queues, linked list. Yes, remember the childhood days when we learned data structures? There is a special data structure called tree data structure. What is it? It composed of multiple nodes. Yes. So VDT is a tree data structure which is composed of nodes. You have parent node, child node, and subchild node, and so on. Each node represent a KPI in your planning data model. That's what VDT is all about. We can create VDT manually or also automatically. Yes, that's what we can do when it comes to VDT. You can create it manually or you can also create it directly using the automatic option given by SAP. So let's look at an example for first creating a VDT manually. What we want to do, we want to design a VDT to calculate net sales for our company, and the factors which influence the net sales will be given as input to VDT. These factors are CPI numbers, common price inflation, also known as price index. Yes. So you have price index, which is the inflation. At what speed the price of a product can be increased or decreased in the market. It's a factor of inflation. You guys, you see last 6 months, inflation is very high. So prices for commodities and the household stuff is constantly rising. Yes, it is because the companies will check the inflation numbers coming, which is coming out of markets, and that based on that they will inflate or deflate the price of their products as well. There is a cap on that. Then we have growth rate. So is market able to digest this price? At what rate the market is growing? So you see in last couple of weeks and months, the chip shortage has increased the demand for cars. The supply is low and the market is growing at a very high pace when it comes to the car market. Even the second hand car market is booming. If you have a second hand car you want to sell, this is the right time to sell it. The growth rate is very high in the car market. Then we have sales ambition. Sales ambition guides you. What is your ambition in terms of sales this year? So based on that you will decide how much quantity you can produce. So basically, let me write the formula. So the gross sales will be equal to total quantity you produce in your company multiplied by price you can charge. But the quantity is a factor of market growth. So let's say if the market is not growing for the segment of your products and you produce millions of quantity of products, your product will remain in the shelf and nobody will buy them because market doesn't is not ready for your product. So market growth decides how much quantity you can produce. Then you have sales ambition. Sales ambition decides how much sales you would want to have this year. So if your company CEO decided to have 10 million of total sales, accordingly you have to also produce the equal amount of product. Then the price of a product can be is influenced by the inflation, which is nothing but price index. So Whatever I put with the tilde sign, it's a variable. This is something which you can change according to the need of your company, because inflation keeps changing. You can adjust the inflation number, and that based on that the price of your product will be automatically calculated. You can change your sales ambition and market growth. Based on that the quantity will be calculated, and based on these calculated measures the gross sales will be calculated. Then we have the net sales equal to gross sales minus discount, and the discount depends on how much discount percentage you give to the customers. Yes, so these are the factors in which all these things it depends on. Wow. Wow. Which means now if I try to put all these KPIs, you see this is a KPI, this is a KPI, this is a KPI. If I put all these KPIs right into a form of a tree, what I expect, what I get. So let's up take this formula up and put this formula into the system as a tree data structure. How would our tree would look like? So starting first we have the price index. This you can consider as inflation, CPI. You can read the definition of price index on Google. If you are confused about what is price index, this is what I usually do. So what is price index? Definition. Wikipedia. So you can go and read about a price index is a normalized average of price relatives to the given class of goods and service in a given region during the given interval of time. Basically, in your country, in your region, in your area, how relative your product is positioned in terms of the market. Yes, it's basically nothing but your inflation number. So it's a measure of relative price changes considering the series of numbers arranged. So comparison of the values for any two period will show the average price in the price between the period and average difference in the prices between the places. So it's basically direct factor of inflation. You see also here the Wikipedia definition. A consumer price index or a consumer price index, CPI, is a price index, the price of weighted average of market basket and consumer goods and services purchased by household. So basically CPI number is nothing but your inflation. How fast the inflation is growing, you can change the price of your product also in the market. So that's the price index. It's a variable, you can change the way you want. Now next comes is based on the price index. You can see the formula which I put in. Based on price index, it influence the price of your product in the market, at what pace you can increase decrease the price. Then we have two more factors. One is your growth rate, and second is your sales ambition. Now it will pass to the quantity, and then we will have the price and the quantity go together into the sales, which is your gross sales. So basically you will multiply the price and the quantity, you can see. By multiplying you get the gross sales. From the gross sales you calculate the net sales, which is our final target, and the net sales comes from discount. It comes from discount percentage. Yes. So this is how exactly final data goes to the net sales. So we subtract our gross sales minus discount. Discount is calculated by discount percentage. So these are all the different KPIs. So now in this is a variable KPI. This is a variable KPI. This is a variable KPI. This is something which all either depends on CEO or your planner or on the market conditions. Based on these things, these things will change, and when these things will change, they have an impact on your net sales. Make sense? So now we want to design this exact same thing into the system, and to be able to design all of this, we really need to go back and put these account dimensions, these KPIs, as part of your account dimension. So where are these dimensions? We don't have them right now, so they are part of the Excel sheet which I provided to you. So let me open once again the Excel sheet. So this is the Excel sheet which was provided to you in the study material in the last class. There are also some bugs in the data set which I'm providing you, so that you can experience that if your data set is bad, what impact does it have on your reports when you do planning. So you will be able to learn to also resolve the mistakes. So I go to the measure sheet. This is a measure, so these are additional measures. So let's start copying each one by one. So I'm first going to copy this first 6 columns where we have member, description, hierarchy, formula, account type, and rate type. I copy. I will now come back to the data model, go to the account dimension, and paste. So now we had put in all the properties. So as I told you, I have some bugs. I have some bugs in the data. Okay. So you will see that VDT will not work properly. It will give weird errors, and I will teach you how to resolve these errors. So we have now, you see here, we have different factors like price index, net sales, gross sales, discount percentage, discount, yes, average price, all these things we have it over here. So we have price index, and we have the discount percentage, and we also have the growth rate, yes, market growth, yes, and then we also have the sales ambition. How much is the sales ambition? So these are the factors we have. And now if I go on the right side, so what you can do is you can also select description and just click on pin, so that it does not change the order. Now be careful when you're pasting the data. Some people will go on the right and they will start pasting from the top. No, we started line number 5. Yes, so you should paste also from line number 5, guys. Very important. So don't paste from the top. It will disrupt everything. I did this mistake before, and it nothing will work because we are just taken line number 5 onwards. So I come back, copy, paste, starting line number 5, then just go on the right, copy, scale, paste, and finally everything is visible. I click on save. Perfect. So now you see I have got the desired account dimensions which are required to build the value driver tree. And you see the formula which I showed you is already integrated over here. So guys, understand one thing: value driver tree is just simulation. The actual calculation will take over in the model only. So you have to put in the calculation in the model only. Value driver tree is just a simulation, just a display of your data in a tree format. But actual all the calculations are over here. You see the calculation for net sales, which I was telling you earlier. So we have the net sales somewhere. Where is it? Where is it? Yes, here it is. So you see gross sales minus discount. Yeah. Gross sales minus discount. This is what I taught you in the PPT functionally. You see here. And discount, what is discount? Is a factor of discount percentage. So if you go and check discount, here it is. You see it's a factor of discount DRV. Yes. Discount ratio DRV. What is discount ratio DRV? It is this discount percentage, which is manually going to be entered by user. Yeah. Then if you see the price is a factor of price index. So you see here the price is a factor of price index LU. What is price index LU? Price index LU is this price index where we are looking up the price index value for a given product with hash as a lookup we are doing. So I have some bugs in the data. I will teach you what kind of issues might come when you also do this. In fact, if you have attended my last batch, we did the similar scenario. But if you are trying the scenario now for VDT, it's failing because there are changes in Analytics Cloud. Because of that, your scenario might not work, which was working in the last release. So I will also teach you that what kind of changes has happened in this release, in the latest release of Analytics Cloud as compared to last release. Because of that, your value driver tree might fail, yeah, which you developed in the last release. Okay, so coming back, I'll just save this. After I save, I will switch over back to my story and we will create a VDT. So let's create a VDT. So first I will add a title, value driver tree, CPI, impact on net sales. Okay, and I will add a widget, value driver tree. I create a new value driver tree and I will choose our data model, sales planning. So let's come here. I can reduce the zoom size of my browser. You see here there is a zoom setting on the top right corner. You can reduce the zoom to just adjust your controls properly on the UI. It's the best way to do adjustments. Yes. Now you can zoom over back to bring it back to 100%. Okay. So here is our model. This is a tree structure. You can see it's a value driver tree. It's a tree data structure. So option number one, you can auto create the tree by clicking this option and say auto create. But I'm not a big fan of auto create. I would like to show you doing everything from my hand, step by step, line by line. So let's go ahead and first of all, check here the date range. So the date range allowed is 2020 to 2023. Suppose my business wants to do planning up to 2024, but my data set is available only till 2023. You can switch over back to the model, go back to the model, go to date dimension, click on the date dimension. This is the date dimension. So we have data only to 2020 in the system. So we can switch over to detail, come down, and you can change the date range and year here. I want to do planning up to 2024. I can change it to manually. System will insert the blank data for this date range and you can save. It's a very interesting setting to do planning up to future years also. But remember, after you change this, you can never, ever, ever, ever come back to 2023. It's not possible to reduce the time once it's increased. Yes, I save the change. I come back and I will refresh the page. Done. And now we can see here planning till 2024 is available. Fantastic. So let's plan to 2020 to 2024 for each of my KPI. Click OK. And let's start adding the node. Remember, tree is a node structure. So let's go back and follow the design which we did. So design is very important. No design, no proper output. If you cannot design, if you don't understand the functional requirement, believe me or not, you can never achieve the right output. You can never achieve the desired output in your company, no matter what you do, no matter how good you are. But design has to be, you should clear the design first. The first step is design. Is your design right? Are your formulas okay? Have you put in everything together required? Is your data proper? After that, only you should start and touch the system. If you touch the system before that, you will be lost somewhere. Somewhere you will be lost in the requirement. You need to be very, very thorough on your requirement design. Okay, so now as a next step, what I will do, I will just go ahead and let me plug my charger. Give me 1 second, guys. My laptop is dying with the battery. Just need to plug the charger. Give me 1 second, please. Just plug the charger. Yes. Okay. So now the first node is price index node. Let's go ahead and add the price index node over here. Gonna switch over back. So we will add a node. So you see the node list at the bottom. I add a new node. Go inside the node and we call it as price index. Yes. I will click on add account, and now I will just click on select account, and you see everything will be under simulated KPIs. Be careful, do not choose these upper values. Come down and choose carefully because some names are common: quantity ref, quantity sim, price index base, price index. Be careful when you are developing this. If you do not watch my video, if you just blindly start developing, you will not get desired results. You have to be very clear. Your focus has to be here. What am I selecting? Okay, what am I selecting? Your focus has to be here. So price index, okay, is my first node. You see 2020 to 2024. Very nice. My first node is ready. Let's go back. Now add my next node. So based on price, what we are influencing, price is changing. So we can come back to the next node and we'll say price calculated based on the price index. It's a factor. And now I choose my account dimension. And in this, I will choose average price. Here it is, average price. Okay. Now you see it's giving me error. We couldn't find the suitable conversion rate. Please provide the missing rate for all the needed rate for the categories in the rate table. Wow. One simple question to all of you in the audience. What do you think? What has gone wrong? In your opinion, I will not write a complaint email to your manager that you gave wrong answer. What do you think? In your opinion, what's wrong? By reading this message. Yes, Ravi has got correct answer. The currency conversion rates which we maintained is having an issue. So you see guys, Anubhav training is not just about giving you plain vanilla ice cream where everything works in the session, and when you try you find errors and you don't know how to solve. Anubhav training is all about also teaching you what problems might encounter while you are practicing analytics cloud and how do you resolve this problem in your real life. That's what the true training means. And that's why I introduce these problems in my model and the data, which will help you to understand how do you resolve the problems. Yes. So it's clearly a rate problem. So how do you resolve it? Let's go back again. Open another session. We switch over back to the rates. So we go to modeler, conversion, SAP CEP currency. This was the rate we maintained. We come and click this I button. We choose our model, which is sales planning data. Choose currency as US dollars and we click on search. Please tell me what are the missing rates. Yes. Click. Wow. Swiss franc to US dollar. This rate is missing in our currency conversion rate. Wow. Let's go and get the rate. CHF to USD. It's a current rate today. 1.06. No problem. Very nice. Very nice. So I just go maintain 1.06. Enter. Save this. Go back to the story and just refresh. So you see this error should go away now. Refresh. Voila! Everybody in the room, are you clear? The first error which come and how do we resolve it? Yes or no? Yes or no? Next time you get similar errors in your company, I hope you will be able to resolve them. You know what? There are not many community members on Analytics Cloud today. If you get errors, you Google, you not find good support. There is no support, or there is literally no support or not good support. Yes, yes. Not too many people knows Analytics Cloud. Not too many people. But believe me, there is a huge potential in the market. If you learning Analytics Cloud, you can easily get a very good job in market. Very, very good job you can get in market. Huge, huge gap is there in terms of knowledge and requirements today. Easily you can double your salary in coming months. Easily. Yes. So what kind of error in real life, and who gives currency conversion? Business has to give you currency conversion rates. They have to give you. And but the data which they give you, if it has bugs, then the system will throw you the bugs and you solve like this, the way I showed you. Okay. Now, as you know, price index influence the price. So we need to connect these two nodes. So go back and check again. You see price index is supplying to price. Yeah. So now I go back. So we will come down and we will say, hey, my price index and my price, what's the relationship? So I say my price is influenced by the price index. So you see now I make price index as a children. So any change in the price index influence my price. But let me try. Let's say inflation is growing or the price index is 100%. Whatever is last year, same is this year also. And voila, the next error, leaf member must be available for all dimension in the node. You know what? Last release, this issue was not there. It was working fine. If you attended my last batch of Analytics Cloud, we did exact same scenario and it worked in Analytics Cloud last time. But now it fails. Why? And you know what? I struggled to fix this problem 3 days. 3 days. I could not find any solution on Google also. I Google, I could not find a solution actually for this problem. Could not. I tried so much, but there is nobody who can help me. Literally, no one can help me. No one. I tried so much Google, guys. Nothing helped me. There are not experts, there are not people enough to help me. What's the solution? Why this problem? The problem is, read carefully. Leaf member must be available for all dimension in the node. So we are changing price index. Let's go and check price index in model. Go to account and you see we have price index. This is the property and we are evaluating price index with the lookup of product, sales org and customer, where product value is hash, sales org is hash and customer is hash. Same was working in the last release. Last time when we had the same scenario in last training, it was working because that time Analytics Cloud was not strict in lookup. They've changed the way lookup is implemented. They made the lookup formula more strict. So if you go back to Excel and look at the data, so it's a data, it's a issue with the lookup. Basically, it's not an issue. It's more strict now in nature. So you see product hashtag. So if we go to product, there is a hashtag value in the product you see. There is, yeah, there is a hashtag value. Do we have sales org with hashtag value? So we go to sales org. There is no hashtag value for sales org. You see, there's no hash here. Do we have hashtag for customer? We go to customer. Let's go. There is no hash value for customer. So our data set doesn't have hash value for customer and hash value for sales org. We don't have. But in the lookup formula, it is been given. So that's the culprit. Last release, this was working. Same thing was working, but this release it's not. Why? Because they've changed the lookup function behavior. It is more strict in nature now. I will remove this two things from the formula and I click OK. Yes, that's it. I save. I will fix or I will fix this also in our Excel file in the measure. So next time you guys will not get the error. So I will upload the latest version of this file today after the class in the study material and you can see I paste the correct formula. Yes. Same thing I will do also for the market growth. You see market growth index. Yeah. You see this formula. I'll just change. I'll remove. I'll put it. Okay. I take the formula. I just do it for market growth also. That's it. That's it, guys. We make the change now. We save the change. I will switch over back. Customer, we have hash in between. If we do have hash, we can keep the customer hash, no problem. If we do have, we can keep. So we can go to customer and search for hash. You see we do have hash. Okay, we can keep customer, no problem. So we can go back and we can put here lookup and customer have hash. So sales org we don't have, and customer equals to hash. If we have hash, we can put it, no problem. We can format, formula looks good, click OK. So we put for market growth, and let's also update over here for the lookup price index. Save. Yes. Okay. Now that I have also updated the PPT, our data set. I will update the data set. Let's go back and try again. So last time you saw this error. Now I'll say inflation is same this year, means 100, same as last year. If I put 105, which means inflation is 5%. Yes, I put just 100 and say okay. And you see price was calculated. Wow. Woohoo! 100. You see price was calculated. Fantastic. Everybody, are you clear? Yes or no? Are you clear? What was the problem? And how did we resolve the problem of dimension issue, which is coming from this release? If you have taken my course in last release, there was an issue with the same thing. It does not work. There is no help on Google. There is no help on Google. Okay. How did the connection? I'll show you again between the nodes how I connect the nodes. So I went to the node. So you see these nodes were like this. I click price index node, or let's say price calculated node. Yes. And I go to add a child, and I choose my node price index. It does the connection. Clear? Clear, Ravi? Okay. So it's just a tree. Okay. So now we have got our price. Let's go back to the design document. The design says we have growth rate and sales ambition, which should give to quantity. So let's add two more nodes one by one. So come down to the node list. We'll add the next node. I'll go little fast, guys, now. So growth rate, put the account, just put the growth rate, market growth index, add next node, sales ambition, account, choose sales ambition, click next node, quantity, choose quantity, come down and make child nodes as growth rate, make child nodes as sales ambition. So these two are my child nodes, growth rate and sales ambition. Let's put growth rate 100% growth like last year, and let's put sales ambition also 100%. So this much quantity we need to produce. Let's say ambition is only 50%. You can see the values are changing in the quantity immediately. Nice, nice, nice. Wow, that's amazing. You can click this button to expand the tree with all the available nodes, and you can check changed values. Superb, superb. You can zoom out and zoom in like this. Easy. That's your basic stuff by far. Let's go back to design. Then these two influence the gross sales. So let's add the node for gross sales. Next node, go inside, add account, come down. Don't choose this gross sales. It will be a blunder. It will be a blunder if you choose this. Not work, not work. Everything is from this tree. So gross sales, and we will put at its child nodes as price and quantity. So you see that's my gross sales. Next is discount percentage. Let's add more nodes. Discount percentage, and let's add discount also. Done. So discount percentage is a children for discount. Done. And then we have the net sales, which is a factor of gross sales and discount. So let's add our node for net sales. And it's a factor of gross sales and discount. Perfect. So there's an error in net sales. Please select an account. Okay, sorry. I forgot to select net sales here. Wow. Woohoo! That's amazing, Anubhav. That's amazing. So now you can influence anything. Let's say I want to give 10% discount this festival season. It changes the discount value, and you see now the calculated value, oops, is coming slash y. The value is shown only if all the child node have the same unit or currency. Wow. Cool, na? So gross sales and discount, it's not calculating the correct value. Why? Why? So we need to go back and check this in our model. This is a third issue, guys. I showed you first currency conversion issue, then I showed you the formula issue, what impact it has on your tree. And now I'm showing you the third issue where system is giving a slash instead of the value of the net sales. Yes. So what's the problem? So how do we figure out the parent and child node? Design. Why I do explain you this design? Why? First, you do design. You understand the interrelationship between your KPIs. You need to understand the business. Only then you will realize what's the relationship between nodes. Yes. Nobody will tell you this. The business has to tell you this, or you should learn the business. Okay, one question I ask you. School fees you pay for your children's school. It's a it's a node which comes under expense, or is a node which comes under income? The school fee for your kids, it comes under expense or it comes under income for you? Obviously expense. So
Expense.
if you build a tree for your household, if you want to do planning, in fact, I have done my entire household planning using analytics cloud value driver tree. So you will have income, so income from salary, income from rent, and income from other sources like share market. Yes, this becomes my income, yearly income. Yes, then, yes, on top of it, I have value received, gift received from my family member. Yes. So maybe the gift received from my family member, it also comes, and this is my gross income. Yes. Then you have expense. In the expense, you have the education expense, child education, the utility bills you pay like telephone, internet, mobile phone, yes, broadband, all the utility expense, all the travel and transport expense, yes, all the grocery expense you buy for your home, yes, everything comes here. Then in addition, you have additional expenses like somebody's marriage have come, so additional expenses. and that these are your expenses, gross expense. Then you will get gross expense minus expense, you get your net income. From the net income you have the tax. Then net income and tax is your final income at home. This is your savings. So you can see how business runs, how your daily life runs. That is also a value driver tree. So you need to first understand functional requirement to know the tree nodes, which is parent and which is child. As simple as that. If you not understand requirement, you cannot build it. So first thing, foremost thing is requirement. If you not understand requirement, you cannot build. Nobody will tell you what is parent and child. You need to understand requirement. You need to do design like this. Design it on a plain paper. It will work. Okay, coming back to this problem, it says I hover the mouse, value only shown all the child node when we have the same unit or currency. So we have gross sales and discount. What's the unit? Let's go back and check. So we can see gross sales. So I will just select and pin, and I will see what's the unit for gross sales. So it million currencies. What is it for discount? For discount, where is discount? Here it is. For discount, it is million and currency. Yes. And what is it for net sales? So for net sales, it is million and currency. So there is something wrong. Maybe I think for discount and for the gross sales, I will make it none. I'll make it none here. None, none. Yeah. Let me save, come back, refresh. Yes, there you go. It works. So just for gross sales and discount, make it none and none. So now you can see it is calculated the net sales. You can see 4761. You can check, cross check. You can cross verify everything. You can cross verify, my friends. 5290 minus discount 529, $4761 million is the net sales for your company. Now you see the impact of change of one KPI on another. Suppose next year I am offering a 20% discount. So 20% discount, enter, and I have a market growth of 150%. I have a 150% market growth and sales ambition is 100%. And I have a price index as, let's say, inflation is 105, 5% inflation. Yes. Maybe let's keep 100. Yes. Now you see the impact of this on your net sales. You see net sales was calculated. Yes, with a 20% discount. So change of your external environmental factor and the change of your internal company factor, how they influence your numbers, is what we draw as a requirement is a value driver tree. Yes, value drive. It's a very powerful and interesting topic for enterprise value driver tree. Yes, yes. You can do it for forecast, any version. Version you can choose here. You see version. So if I would have had the forecast version, I could have chosen forecast also. It would work for forecast also. Yes. Since I have actual version, working for actual version. Okay. Okay. So that is about creating value driver tree. And also we saw problems, what you face and how do you solve these problems one by one. Because when you create VDT, these problems will come on your way and you need to fix them. Yes. So important is to learn how do you overcome the problem in the training. That's the purpose of the training. Okay, moving on, let's create the tree in an automatic way. So I can go back another canvas and now I'll show you again. Just put a text. So earlier we had created planning model in last class. I will create a VDT using that. So VDT, create a new VDT, and I will choose now my model which I created earlier. If you guys remember, earlier I've created the model. So I go back, models, planning. I go to this planning finance model which I created in two class back when we learned basics of planning. I open that and now I just choose more option and I say please auto create. Cuckoo! Click on that and now watch out. I just select only operating income. I want to know how my operating income is influenced by profit and expenses. Click OK. Voila! There you go. You can see an entire tree is being built now. Every single minute detail, training expense, burden expense, bonuses. It's an expense for company, wages, salaries. All these constitutes to personnel costs and IT expenses and other expenses. That comes to constitutes to operating expenses, and that influence in your company the operating income of the company. You can change here the time range 2019 to 2020, for example. You can choose the version like forecast, change the time range, and you can see the data. So let's say if I say this year or maybe 2021, my training expense increased by 2%. So you can say I can have a training expense increase by let's say 15%. Yes. Click OK. How much it impact my operating expense? So you see operating expense increased. Yes. Operating income decreased and operating expense has increased. Yes. Can we delete some nodes? Yes. You can adjust this according to your need. You see all the nodes are here. All the nodes are here. So you can actually remove some of the nodes to adjust the tree to make it more compatible according to your need. So that is how we can build in an automatic way also a tree. Up to you how you want to design your tree. One option could be automatic generate and then delete all the nodes which you don't need for your company, for your requirement. Yes. So let's say salary expense increased by 20%. Click OK. You see it has reduced further your operating income. Let's say freight cost. Yes, cost of goods sold. You see net revenue. Let's say you got retail returns increased by also 19%. What is the impact on profit? You see this profit 32380, 2320, sorry. Click OK. You see now it is $2314 million. So that is how you can see impact of change of a KPI on another KPI directly with the tree data structure. It's more visual appeal for the business and easy for them to enter the data. That comes to the end of our first topic for today, value driver tree. Any questions on this topic of value driver tree? Okay, so let's take a break here for
Is
five
it
minutes.
just
Yes, go ahead.
one question on book? Is it just a simulation, or can we update the data as like in planning scenario?
It is updating data. So when you're changing something, it's updating the data. It's updating the data. You see, it's like what if
Okay.
scenario,
It,
but in a graphical way.
will it update in database or just in
It
the
will
value
update
driver
in the
tree?
model, not database. We don't have any database here. It's
Okay.
the model. And model
Okay.
is actually a table in the physical database behind the scenes.
Okay.
Mhm,
Got it
Hello.
on.
mhm.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sir. I was practicing this smart discovery yesterday, 2 days back,
Mhm.
and I found that my smart discovery was not working on the model that I used for company data, using company data.
Mhm.
It took me 1.5 days to find out that the max number of dimension the model at present supports is 10. If your number of
Okay.
dimension is beyond that, if you click on create the smart discovery, it will not work.
Oh, okay.
Also, the max number of filter is 18.
Okay. Good. So these are limitations
So,
which doesn't come on surface until we not try things. Mhm.
yes, sir. And one more thing I wanted to know. See, I yesterday I was trying to practice this planning model,
Mhm.
our seventh lecture class. But in my office SSC account, I found that I am not able to create a planning model because they have not purchased professional planning
Planning
professional
professional
license.
license. Yes.
Yes, sir. So I can practice this in trial account like you are showing, demonstrating us, right?
So use your
It will be available.
company email ID and create a free trial account.
Means I can create trial account only using company email ID, or I
Yes,
can use
only
any
using
Gmail ID or
company
something
email
like that.
ID. Gmail is not allowed.
Okay, okay. Sir, one more question, if you
Mhm.
don't mind. And it is from CDS views. I had completed CDS views also from you. The CDS view, I am creating a consumption view over a consumption view. That is a
Mhm.
query view.
Mhm.
But this query view that I had created on a pre-query view is not visible in RSRT, neither it is visible in SAC also.
So let's take this topic in the ABAP on training and not here.
So I have already
Or you
completed
can
it.
email
So
me.
how I
I will
contact?
reply that.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay,
And
so
one more thing sir, one more thing regarding SSE only.
mhm.
Can I capture yesterday date or any date and previous year in a variable year?
Not here. We can do it in designer. So in the designer, we can create variables and we can capture and manipulate these like in a programming world. Yes. So that we will
Okay.
learn in the
Okay, sir.
designer.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, guys. So we have a break here for 5 minutes and we'll resume back after the break. So welcome back after the break, everyone. So let's move on to the next topic for today, and it's called data actions. What is data action and why we use data actions in SAP Analytics Cloud? So let's talk about why we use and what is data actions in SAC. So in the planning, data action helps us to end users, planners, and planning experts to perform tasks in an automated way. Why we need automation? We need automation to bring down the human effort and human errors. You know that whenever a human does a work, we don't know. Humans' work is attached to their emotions. Let's say if you are not in a good feel today, there are high chances that you do mistakes. And these mistakes can cost a lot to the company. So we want to take away some work away from the user and do all of these things in an automated way. Example, if we want to allocate, distribute, copy, or calculate complex formulas manually, they are time consuming and error prone. Moreover, many end users may not be comfortable with Analytics Cloud, but they still want to use SSE in their day to day life. So, how can you make it easy for our end user? How can you make reports more consumable for end user? We can define data actions and give a simple buttons to the user to perform these actions. We can also streamline multiple actions together and trigger a chain of actions as well. It's possible. So let's go ahead and create a data action. But before that, we need to create model. So I would like to create a model today for HR planning. FTE planning is a core function of HR. Many colleagues will join and leave company every month. HR needs to plan for all the hirings and terminations. And that's where we can use the concept of Analytics Cloud to help HR to do FTE planning with Analytics Cloud. So let's go and import our data set. So I'm just first going to explain the use case. So I'm going to switch over back. So open the specification document, come down. So we just did the value driver tree. And now we are here to talk about the next scenario. So a dashboard which allows HR department to calculate the headcount based on new hirings and terminations. This is a calculation which is a nightmare for the department today because there's a lot of calculation when people join and leave the company. We need a well integrated planning in our dashboard. So first of all, we'll create a new planning model for HR data. The HR dataset below has sensitive information about the cost of salaries per day per region, along with the headcount, including the new hirings and terminations. We need to create a planning model, and we will start with building a planning model with a blank model rather than uploading again. So you will learn about the planning model. So let's follow the design, follow the specification to create our planning model now. I'm going to switch over back. I close the sheet, other sheet, and I switch over back to the data set for today's class, day number 10. And we have this accounts and hierarchies and original headcount plan. Let's open both the sheets. So one sheet have just the data for uploading, and one sheet have all the values for account and other dimensions. So we will follow this, and I'm just going to switch over back to create a new data model from blank. So let's create a data model as a classic model, and let's add first all our dimensions and measures. So we have version already done. Okay, account dimension. So let's create an account dimension. Done. Next is our generic dimension, which is audit, job family, and movement. There's a spelling mistake in specification. It's movement, but it's not movement, guys. It's movement. Okay. So just be careful when you're creating. It is movement, not movement. Movement indicates how many people come and how many people go from the company. Then we have entity as org dimension. And now we will create maintain the data set in the system. So let's maintain these values for audit, job family, movement, and entity along with account dimension. So I'll first save the model, go to SSC, models, planning model, HR data, FTE. Click on save, and let's maintain the account and other dimension values. So for that, I'll switch over to the sheet 2 where we have given you the values for these dimensions. I will copy, come back to the account, maintain the account members, just cross check everything has come up correctly. There's a problem here, just keep it blank. Okay, this good. And let's go to the scale property, decimal and units. Done. Looks good. Everything come properly. Yes. Now go to entity. So just go back. Entity, maintain the entity values. Okay, so you can see we have hierarchy for this level 1 and level 2. We didn't create this yet. Let's create level 1 and level 2 for entity. So I come to entity and create here property level 1, and we create another property level 2. Now we will just go ahead and add here a level based hierarchy. So level 1, level 2, and this entity level based hierarchy. Just go inside, and now we maintain these values. Perfect. Next, we go back to job family. We have a parent child hierarchy here. So let's go to job family, create a parent child hierarchy. And maintain job family data over here. Next, we have the movement type. Also have a parent child hierarchy in movement type. And let's maintain values. We are done with the creation of all the dimensions and click save. Done. Everything is ready. We are good to go. So we've added everything, and now our blank model is ready. The next step is to do data management. So we have done this also slowly in the last class. I just repeating once again, but with a different data sets. So let's click on file, and we're going to import the data from our sheet here, original headcount plan sheet. That's our import data. So here, if you go back to this data set, you can see we have headcount values of our hires, opening balances, and terminations, and closing balances on different dates. Yes, different dates are there. So I just close and I search. I go to data sets and original headcount plan data. Click on import, and after importing, we will do the mapping. As you all know, we have created all the properties inside the model, and now we are going to map from the Excel file to the model properties. So let it upload. I go inside, and now we will provide all the mappings. So let's cross check. Most of the things it mapped automatically. You see entity, movement, job family, audit, account dimension, account description, and you see there is a bug. You see some of the values did not map because we have null values here. Yes, these are null values. No problem, you can delete these values. So delete the values. We anyway don't need these values actually. We don't need them. Perfect. So now we not have a quality issues. Just check the date is mapped. Okay, version. Click on map version. Click OK. So that is our model binding, and now we finished the mapping. Just it's a good way to also cross check on the left tab if any property remain unmapped or not. Yes, you can always check that. So you can come on the left side and see if any property remain unmapped. You can see measure remain unmapped. So this value maps to the measure. Yes, we missed that part. There are null values. We will delete them as well. And now we have 100% mapping. You can see also there is a null value which we can just delete. Okay, let's finish the mapping. Everything is properly mapped from the Excel, including version and also the measure. So this will create our model for HR. So it says account dimension, property, unit type, and measure unit should be both be mapped or unmapped. Okay. So the problem is, you see, measure unit and unit type both must be mapped if they are mapped together. So we should cancel this mapping for measure unit with account dimension. Okay, let's give it a try. We don't need unit right now. And I can now finish my model data import. Since we are doing planning only for HR related to full-time employee count, we don't need the other data, so we deleted all that. You can see total 18,877 lines were imported. This should be the exact count, should match when you guys do the same practice during practice time. Perfect. Our model is ready. Let's go back to the scenario for data action. What we want to do. So first we want to create a headcount story where we will show the actual data for day 2017 and 18 within headcount filter. Let's go ahead and do that. So I'm just going to come to create a new story, create a canvas page. Classic design experience is good to go. We create a table and we choose our headcount model, which we just created few minutes ago. We come here. Let's choose the rows as movement. So we can come and choose the account dimension as movement. This one. It will tell us the hirings and firings. And then we will choose the column as version actual for date 2017 and 18. So version is actual or not? It's actual already. And we choose date as 2017 and 18. We can expand, drill down to level 3. So we have data for 2017 and we have data for up to only 2018 quarter 1. You see here. In fact, in quarter 1 also we don't have too much of data. It's almost 0. Yes. I'll get rid of an account dimension and I just expand all the movements. So you can see we have data for 2017 in our data set for all the hirings, openings, and terminations. For 2017 we have the data, but for 2018 we don't have the data at all in the data set. You see it's empty. Yeah, it's all empty. We don't have the data. So our goal is to first copy the data from 2017 to 18. So first of all, in the date we go back and say show unbooked data. So it shows all the months and quarters of 2018. Yes, in the report. So you see all the quarters of 2018 are displayed now. 17 and 18 are displayed here. Now HR want to copy this headcount data from 2018 to 2017 to 2018. Now HR has to see Control C and do Control V. It's taking first of all so much time. Done. She has to then do Q2 and she has to do Q2 2018. But oops, HR while copying the data did mistake. She have copied from Q2 2017 to Q3 2018. This is a manual error. Because you allow data entry manually to the user might do mistakes, especially when there is humongous data. Do you guys understand that humans will do mistakes? Yes or no, everyone? Do you guys understand that humans will do mistakes? Correct? They will do mistakes. Yes, they will. Certainly they will do mistakes. No human is perfect. Yes, no human is perfect. So usually the people will do mistakes. Yeah. So when it comes to this kind of a scenario where you want to copy data from, let's say, one version, one dimension to another dimension, there is a huge overhead. Point one, she has to copy one by one, one by one. Second problem, it's a manual effort. Third, it's a error prone process. And fourth, it is time taking because she has to copy quarter by quarter, month by month. Yes. Do you understand the problem statement of copy data? Yes or no? Yes or no? That HR has to plan for 18, she has to manually copy all data from 17 to 18. This is the problem statement. Can we automate this work? Can we automate this work of copying data from one place to another? Yes, we can. And that's where we have the concept of data actions. Okay. So introducing to you first data action where we can use it for copy data from one place to another in the system. So let's go back to the spec. This is our report by far. And now we want to copy data from 2017 headcount to 2018 version. Yes, that's what we want to do. So to achieve this now, we need to go back and define a copy data action. Yes, let's do that. We come back and we have more, and you see here data action in SSE. We now define a copy data action. We choose our model, HR planning model, and we click on save first. And now we can start defining action. So you see it supports copy, add cross model copy, perform allocation, embedded data action means one data action inside another. So I will use the first one, copy. So I want to copy data. Now I can first choose here the version. So I can choose that I want to do this for only actual version of data, or I can also pass this as a parameter. So you see system is defining a default parameter called version where you can put the version at runtime. So you will see when I run this action, system will ask me version data. So I don't change this. In addition, I will create here the copy rules. So I say, please copy the data, and you can come back to this one from audit load to stored logic calculation. So audit version from load to stored logic calculation. This is the first copy rule. Second copy rule is from the date 2017 to 18 we have to do. So what we can do is we can now put it as an input parameter that where what is the target. So let me just go back and create another rule, copy rule from 2017, date as 2017. I'll hard code the input date, but I don't want to hard code the output date. I can copy maybe tomorrow to 2018 or maybe 19 or maybe 20. It's up to me. So I don't want to hard code 18. I want to rather create a parameter and dynamically ask user to pass this parameter so that they can copy data whenever they want. So we can go back and go to parameter list and create a new parameter. And I can say parameter year to copy. It's of type my date parameter, date dimension. And I can put a default value also as 2018. So that's a default value. Yes. But again, something which user can pass to me at runtime. I click done. P here to copy is my parameter name. I come back to my action. I do F4 and I choose my parameter P year to copy. I click on save. So my first data action is ready. I can now integrate this data action with our analytic dashboard. And when user trigger this data action, the data will get copied from 2017 to 2000 X, whatever version user will choose in the pop-up. The mode of is overwrite mode. You can choose append mode also. So let's go back and now integrate data action. So go to more option and we have an option here to integrate our data action in the system. So let's come back. Zoom level is too high. So add, and we will have something called planning trigger, this button. You can choose data action trigger now, and you can see a data action has been added. Let's put the label copy data from 2017 to year. I choose my data action name, which is the only one, copy HRFTE, which we created. And these are the parameters which system will prompt you to. I click on save my story first before something happens and go to my stories, and I can create is FTE planning. Perfect. So let's go to view mode and now watch out. You can see we have data for 2017, but in the 2018, 19, 20, we don't have any data. You see, we don't have any data for any of the years. Let's learn how to copy. So HR don't have to copy now manually like we were doing earlier. She just have to click the button. A pop-up will appear where she can specify a version. Wow. So she will now go back and choose the version as actual version, perhaps. Yes. I click too many times actually. Yeah. And then she can choose the year by herself. So today she want to do it for 18, tomorrow she want to do for 19. It's parameter, custom parameter. Click run. Now you see the copy is carrying out. It's processing, and voila, all the data for 2017 was copied to 18. You see 19 is still unimpacted, 20 is still unimpacted. Maybe she want to now copy data to 2021 also. She can again trigger the data action thanks to the parameter, where you can just change this parameter to 21. Superb. Run. And now the data will get copied to only 2021. There you go. This way we can automate the task for the users. Wow, Anubhav. Thank you so much. Data actions. Wow. Automate work for the user. You don't need to do everything manually. Fantastic. Fantastic. That's how we can create data actions in Analytics Cloud. Okay, so next one is called scripted data action, which is a bit complex. So maybe now HR has got the data here for 2018 and she starts changing the values. So she will go and maintain the values as per the actuals in 2018. Let's say in the month of January, there were 50 people hired in the company. Yes, and then there were 82 people who have left the company. Yes, then in the month of February, there were 90 people hired and 22 people left the company. In the month of March, there were zero hirings and there were 12 people left the company. Now you can see we have the closing balance and opening balance of people who are there in the company. So if you see, we have an opening balance of 713 employees at the opening balance of 666 employees at the beginning of the January 2018. So if we see that there were 50 hire and 82 terminations, what should be the closing balance? 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 If opening balance is 666 and we have hired 50 more employees and we have terminated 82 employees, what should be my closing balance? What should be the value? It will be 666 plus 50 minus 82. 634 is my closing balance. This should be my correct closing balance. So what is the current closing balance showing, system? Is this correct? Is this correct? Guys, simple addition and subtraction. Are you guys understanding or not? Is this correct or no? Is this value correct? It's not correct. Yes, it should be 634. This should be 634. And this balance should carry forward to the next month. 634. Now this month, zero hirings. Yes, sorry, it should carry forward to February. 634. And there were 99 hirings and 22 firings. So 634 for February plus 90 hirings minus 22 firings. Whatever balance comes, that will be the closing for February. That should carry forward to March as an opening balance. Plus hirings 0 minus firings 12. That should be the balance which should carry forward to the next month. So we need this calculation to be done over here on this data. If we have to do this calculation for every month for 4 years, so 4 into 12, 60 months of calculation, how difficult it is to do manually. Manually, very dangerously difficult. So what we want it to also automate using data action. So presenting to you the second type of data action called scripted data action. So I want to do now the planning for hirings and termination for 2018 alone. Yes, 2018 alone, based on the closing and opening balance. So I will go back and create a scripted data action. So we want to auto calculate the headcount based on scripting data action in the system for 2018 alone. So this is how we can create for 2018 a scripted data action based on the previous month's closing balance, carry forward to the next month closing balance, and then calculate opening plus hiring plus minus terminations to find the current month closing balance, and that we will loop over the time. Yes, month by month. So let's go back and do that. So I will come back and create a new data action over here. Yes, let us go ahead and see that. So we go to data actions, and now we come here to put scripted data action, headcount. Choose our data model, save. We will create now a scripted data action. We will put the context as a date filter, that I want to do this only and only and only for 2018. Now I will begin a loop on the time. So we will start a loop. Please repeat for my date dimension. Means each month of 2018 should be repeated. Yes. And now I can first switch to the different mode. So you can also start typing the script manually. Yes. If you want to do that, you can do that. You can come back here and you start adding the node. So I will add a node with a calculation. I will say I will want to calculate movement, my opening balance. One second. I just switch here to based on ID. So I choose movement and I say my opening balance is equals to source scope, movement, my closing balance of last month. So add the time, date, time scope selection function. So I say previous one. So please get me the closing balance of previous 1 month older. Yes, that is my opening balance for current month. Now we will calculate next my closing balance of current month. So let's say movement. Now my closing balance for current month is equals to the opening balance for current month plus again another scope, hirings I did this month, another scope, but this time it's minus negative terminations done this month, moment terminations. So this is called a scripted data action where we are first initializing our opening balance based on previous month closing balance. The current month closing balance equal to opening plus hirings minus termination. So this we will loop over entire stuff over here. You see we loop over and we will get our data. Fantastic. A script code will auto generate over here. If you want to master scripting, you can also go to the documentation, SAP Analytics Cloud, scripting data action. And you can master building the scripting by reading the documentation provided by SAP. So we have a full blown documentation, advanced formula guide over here where they explain each and every thing. This is itself a big profile, data action expert. It's another job altogether in companies. You can see each function is explained over here in detail. Everything, single minute detail is explained over here. You can create a scripting data action to calculate complex data calculations in your company. So I'll put the link into the documentation. You can go through and read the scripting data action detail guide if you want. Yes. So you can see the code was generated. So, but I personally prefer visual coding, visual designer for writing the scripting data actions. I save, we are done. And let's integrate it over here in the report. So you saw few minutes ago when the calculations were done, they were not done properly. They were dirty results, but now we can go back and integrate our data action. So once again, insert data action trigger, planning trigger, and I will now trigger my data action, FTE headcount calculation. Calculate headcount 2018. We will choose our data action as scripted data action, and now we can just click on save. Let's go back to the view mode to test the data action. So last time you saw the January 2000. Okay, one more setting I can do is just to go back to the table and show only months. Will be easy for you to digest. So I go back and I choose my date hierarchy and I say only show the widgets in the months. So it's easy for you to digest. So now you see we have 2017 each month. So let's see the balances over here. So you see December, the closing balance was 927. So first of all, my opening balance for January should be 927. Yes. I will now add 100 employees and terminate 82 employees. I add 90 and terminate 22. Add 0, terminate 12. Add 0, terminate 60. Add, let's say 65 and terminate 9. Yes. So now I have this data entered by HR, but calculation for opening and closing is not proper. Yes. So let's see what should be the values, and then we can test by clicking. So you see, first of all, December 2017, the closing was 927. So this should be 927. Okay. So I will note down in a notepad file. So I'll put hiring, termination, hiring, opening, termination, and I say closing. Yes. So this 927 should be opening balance. So this should be 927. We have done 100 hirings, 82 firings. The closing balance should be not 701. It should be something else. So what should be that? So 927 plus 100 minus 82. 945 should be the one. This should be the value 945 for Jan 2018, Feb 2018. I'll do for March, up to March. Yeah, calculate manually up to March, and then after that you guys can check also. So this now 945 should come as an opening balance for February. In February, you see we did 90 hiring and 22 termination. So 90 hiring and 22 termination. So let's say 945 plus 90 minus 22. 1013 should be this value. So these values HR will change anytime she want. Yes, she know how many hirings and terminations. So star means HR will change these values, and the other values you see will be calculated by system. So this 1013 will come as an opening balance for March. In the March, what we do? We did 0 hiring and 12 termination. So come to March, 0 hiring and 12 termination done by HR, and the system should calculate now 1013 minus 12. 1001 should be this. So now guys, notice these value 945, 113, 1013 and 1001. This should be your values at the end once we perform calculation. Remember the numbers? Yes. I will go back and test now. I will trigger the action and I will do it for actual version, and I say run. So let's check if we get the calculations properly done. So you see now here, okay, this opening balance is 1593. Okay, I got the point. So basically behind the scenes, the correct value for January was 1593. So 1593 minus minus 82 plus 100, you can see the 1611. This is carry forwarded. Then it has plus 90 minus 22. You see the final balance. It is further carry forwarded. Then in this minus 12 was done. Minus 12 plus 0, 1667. It is carry forwarded. So the entire calculation is now carried out in the system. Yes, this is how exactly the calculation happens when it comes to planning headcount. So why this number changed? This number actually changed because behind the scene we have data in different audit versions. It has taken the total of all the audit versions. That's why this number has changed. Yeah, but that's not matter for us. What matter for us is this calculation is being done correctly. So let's say if I now go back and make it 211. Yes, and I again redo the calculation. So this 1611 will change to 1500 now. So I run. This should change to 1500. Okay, sorry, I added in the hirings. I'm so sorry. So it is increased to 1722. Yes, if I make it 0 and again calculate, you can see this closing balance will change. You see 1511 it has become. Yes, so this way the closing balance, opening balance, closing, opening, closing, opening is calculated for each month of 2018 in the system up to December, because our scope for filter was 2018. That is how we can work with scripted data action in live. Any questions before we close today's class, data actions?
So this data action can be for this is for the like HR department is preparing for the full company,
Mhm.
and they want to send it department wise to the department head.
Mhm.
So can this be done here, like IT department showing only the IT hirings, their terminations, opening and closing balances, which
Yes,
means
but
can
right
it be
now we don't
the
have a department-wise breakup in our data set. If we have,
okay.
if we have that breakup in our data set, you can add that filter. So you can actually add a filter. So go to the table, and here you can in the table add a filter for the department. Right now I don't
Mhm.
have department here.
Okay.
So you can add a filter. Let's say I want to only do in administrative support department or production
Okay.
department or data science department. I can do that.
Mhm.
So now it shows only data science employees, hirings and terminations.
Yeah, but this is in the single widget, sir. So this widget will go to all the departments. Then the same figure will reflect to all the departments.
You can actually create a filter here as well in the scope na, for department. So you can actually come here and you can add a filter. You can first create parameter, which department you want to do. So I'll do for job family, so you'll understand by that. Done. And now I come back. I can add a filter, job family, parameter. Oh, I can't add parameter here. Why? Okay, no problem. We cannot add. We can add a if condition. So we can say condition if my job family equals to this department. You see, a job condition has been added here.
Okay.
You see the condition. And now you can put all the logic inside the if condition. So that way you can do it
Mhm.
only for that particular department. Understand?
And sir, we can have one master data for overall for the full company, and then we can prepare the similar widgets for department wise and share it with those departments, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
when I make the changes in the master data, it should reflect in that particular department's widget also.
Yes.
So
So
can
SAP
multiple
Analytics Cloud
widgets be
enables
linked?
us to design the way we want.
Pardon, sir?
It allows us to the way we want to design. The features set is so rich that it allows us the way we want to design.
Similarly, I wanted to know about the driver tree also. There we prepared for the company, full company, like the top management or top board directors prepare the budget for the full company, and department wise, the budget should or the forecast should be published to those departments. See, this is your forecast, and this is how you have to work or perform for the next few months or something like that.
You can do that also. You can add a filter. So you see here you can add a filter for department.
And we can have multiple widgets for department wise also, no? So that
Yes,
we
we
can
can have.
display only those widgets to those departments only.
Yes.
And we can link those widgets like link analysis that we used to
No,
do in
no, that we
normal.
cannot do. Link analysis only work for the cross models when you have data spread across multiple models.
Okay.
Uh, hi, Anubhav. I have a question related to the BI planning module, yes,
Mhm.
because I was trying and because my question is linked to that because some of the information is sensitive, like how can the forecast data I can make invisible, yes.
So this setting we can do in the model. So when we go to model, at the end of the model, we have these hide visibility settings. So if you have some sensitive data, you can just simply go back and make it hidden. It will never display in any report.
Mhm. But this I understand, Anubhav, but it's not linked to this one. It is something like I don't want to publish my forecast data in the SSC, yes.
So in that case, while importing, when you do data import, you do not
Okay,
you do not select the data. So when we trigger the data import, that time we can give filtering condition that do not import the forecast data while
okay,
importing.
okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, thanks, Anu.
Mhm.
Sir, I want to convince my management to buy the professional planning license. Is there any link where I can show them the advantages of planning over the normal SAC,
So that
or
depends.
any
If
note
they
or
really
any
want to
blog?
do financial planning or HR planning in the in the analytics cloud, if they want to do, then first you take the use case, implement the use case in the trial account, demonstrate
Okay,
that
sir.
use case to your company. That will naturally
Mhm.
give them convincing power to buy the planning professional license.
Or I can show these use cases that you have given us. That can also be shown to to them
Yes.
in the trial account, right?
Yes, in the trial account you can.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So value driver tree work only bottom top approach, not top to bottom. Yes, you're right, Sandeep. It's always bottom to top approach. Influencer KPIs, which influences other KPIs. That's what it works upon. Yes, you're right. Okay, so this comes to the end of today's class. In next episode, we will learn about concept of new model, and we will also talk about digital boardroom and collaborative capabilities along with machine learning introduction. Thank you so much. See you in the next episode. Goodbye.